About an hour ago we landed at Dubrovnik airport. We've been whisked down here to the ACI Marina in Dubrovnik, and today we're going to travel from here down to Kotor in Montenegro, and we're going to do it on this, the Prestige 680. Now this boat's been here in this marina for the last couple of weeks, being prodded and poked by dealers from all over the world and a few VIP customers, but now it's our opportunity, and what an opportunity it is. We're very lucky in that we're going to take it down to Montenegro and back and really get beneath the skin of the largest boat that Jeanneau's ever built at its Les Herbiers factory. So we've just done a bit of a leg stretcher for the IPS 1200 engines, got some heat into them, and we come around the corner for lunch in the Bay of Zaton at this fantastic spot here, just here, and thankfully the tender has just arrived. So here we go then, time to hit the road. This is our route here, coming out past Dubrovnik. We sail down the coast and then we hook round into this huge fjord here, which is where Kotor is, but we're actually staying the night in Porto Montenegro, which is down here, beautifully sheltered. It's about 40 miles and we're going to take it nice and easy. 3:15 now, we should be there at about 6 o'clock. Weather's beautiful, should be a fantastic trip. Dubrovnik is now receding into the background, which means we can open her up a bit. As I mentioned, this boat has IPS 1200 on board. That's 900 horsepower per side. She should top out at about 30 knots, and that means that you can cruise, or anywhere really, between sort of 8 to 10 knots. There's a seakeeper on board, so you can go nice and slowly if you're not in a rush, or you can fast cruise at 24 and really fast cruise at 28. As it is now, we're going along at 22 and she feels very, very comfortable at that speed. It's very quiet here. It is, of course, a very calm day, so there's not much of a challenge, but we've got a lovely breeze coming over, and yeah, she feels very comfortable and refined at this speed. A few things to mention about the helm. There are going to be some changes. This is hull number 1. We noticed that these dials here are very flat to the dash, very hard to see them from this position. They are going to be moved up onto this part of the dash, so they'll go in between the two chart plotter screens. That'll be much better, and the joystick is going to move from here to this side, so that you can see down the side of the boat when you're heading stern to or coming alongside. The only other thing I might want is a bit of adjustment on this bench, because if you sit back, you're a bit of a long way from the steering wheel. Only really a problem if you're steering through rough stuff, to be honest. As it is today, I'll probably just set the autopilot and we'll stick on course, sit back and enjoy the ride. Well, passage making doesn't get much better than that. We've just come on a completely flat, calm day. We're in sight of land the whole time. The Croatian-Montenegrin coastline is just absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. And now we arrive into Tivat, where you have the largest fjord in southern Europe. I didn't even know there were fjords in southern Europe, and now we're arriving at the largest one. And as the sun dips behind the mountains behind me, we're heading straight into Porto Montenegro after what has been a pretty wonderful day out on the water. So then, the saloon. It'll be very familiar to anybody who's been on a Prestige yacht before. You have the galley aft, opens up very easily to serve the cockpit, and then you have a small internal dining area. Here the table actually does fold out, so you can get 6 people around there pretty comfortably. Moving backwards, you have the Prestige trademark, which of course is the separate access to the guest cabins. This boat has a large double cabin, which is where the master cabin would normally be on a boat of this size, and then you have a pair of twins down there as well, with which share a bathroom. And then moving this way, this is your main lounging area. Of course, you have the biggest part of the windows are here. They've cut down to the bulwark so that you really do have a great view out. This can be replaced with a sofa, this area here where the telly is, and the telly then ends up behind me here. But this layout seems to work very well. And then of course you have the helm. And the best thing I think about the helm is this side door, because it's really big, very easy to use. You can open it up, talk to crew, and you can even use the IPS joystick while you've got your head just poking outside so you can see where you're going. Really good. But the pièce de résistance on this boat, something that separates it from the competition, is this incredible forward master cabin. Now this is something that we first saw in the 750, the flagship of the range, and they've very neatly transferred it down here to the 680. a size of boat where this really does feel special. Most of the time your master cabin is of course amidships. Look at the headroom in this place. 6'2", 6'3", maybe more, even more. And this hatch here, you've got loads of light. They managed to get 3 big hatches in the ceiling, but you still have a full sun pad forward. The middle one opens as well, and you have electric blinds. Nice strips of glazing either side, and they're higher than a normal boat, so you're not looking into other people's forward cabins. And then there's the space in here, completely flat floor. Walk around the bed, no problem. Nice low set bed as well, very easy to get in and out of. You both have your own bedside tables. Little bureau as well. It's very nice for getting changed. All the bits and bobs. Really nice to see a proper walk-in wardrobe as well. People like that. And then of course you have a very nice bathroom. Aircon's really blowing in here, so it's a bit noisy, but you get the idea. Really nicely finished. Big shower cubby which is sunken down, so you have lots of headroom and very nicely spec'd. And the finish is very good as well. They've really upped their game on the 680. It feels like a special product. And as I mentioned, the guest cabins are amidships. Let's go and have a look. So you can either have 3 or 4 cabins on board the Prestige 680. This particular boat has 4 cabins, which means you get identical pair of twins forward, which share the bathroom behind me. And then aft you have, well, it's supposed to be the VIP cabin, but it may as well be a second master cabin. Because on most boats of this size, this is the master cabin. Alright, it'll be slightly bigger, but the layout, you have the windows, you have the totally flat floor, you have the nice low bed, really lovely separate bathroom. You know, the argument is which one actually is the master cabin. If you're in an anchorage or on a buoy and it's quite noisy up front because you're in the bow, then you can come down here and sleep in the peacefulness of amidships. Or of course, you just give it to a guest. Right then, 6:30 in the morning, a bit of an early start. There were a few sore heads amongst the queue after a bit of the local grappa. But nothing like an early photo shoot to blow the cobwebs away. So we're about to head out. It is so still this morning. Round to the Bay of Kotor and get a few photos of the 680 in action. So we've finally been released from customs in Montenegro, which has given us the good opportunity to try out the lower Helm. And the thing that strikes you most is how quiet it is really. There's the air conditioning blowing away in the background, so it sounds noisier than it is, but our readings were very low. We're going along at 25 knots now, and you really wouldn't know it. She is very refined at this sort of speed from down here. In terms of the actual position, better than upstairs. You're much closer to everything. Everything falls to hand slightly easier. I love having 3 screens. I've got the engine dials, I've got the fish finder, and I've got the chart up as well. Everything's so easy, and you can just touch each screen, swap between them. You've got controls down here. Great setup in terms of that. Quite thick mullion here. That's the only problem with the visibility. That is really quite large, and you do lose boats in it as you're going along. But the view behind is very good because there's so much glass here. There's really no blind spots whatsoever looking back. So that's good. And the look and the feel of the Helm is really nice. Lots of leather, nice handholds down here, and then there's a good flat area just to port here where you can stand and do chart work and unfurl a chart. So all in all, actually, it's a really nicely designed lower Helm position. Don't you just hate it when you come into a port in your 68-foot, £1.75 million flybridge, and there's somebody here in a 104-metre Lursen with about 20 crew on board trying to get them all through immigration and customs? I think we might be here for a rather long time. So here we are then, back at the lunch spot we started at yesterday, but this time for dinner. One thing we've definitely learned from this trip is Croatia, Montenegro, amazing places to go cruising. Yes, you spend a fair few hours at customs now and then, but well worth the effort. And the Bay of Kotor is one of those places that you have to put on your boating bucket list. But what about the boat? Well, it hasn't been particularly challenged over the last couple of days. We went over about 4 waves and they're all very small. But what I can tell you is that she's a very comfortable, quiet cruiser, real easy mile muncher, and really performed very well over the last couple of days, but that's to be expected in these kind of conditions. Where she really sets herself apart from the competition though is this layout. This main deck master cabin below me is very special. It was in the 750 and it is even more so in this area of the market. Now Prestige has sold 3 of these boats into the UK alone, off plan. It hasn't even been at a boat show yet, it's launched at Cannes. And I really think they're probably going to end up selling a fair few more.